Hello, everybody, and welcome back to yet another Big Hitters FPL video. The content just keeps on coming. This time today, it's a Game Week 33 preview podcast ahead of the deadline on Friday night, which we should have a deadline stream for you. First things is to subscribe to us on YouTube. We are the Big Hitters FPL. So make sure you like and subscribe and check out our video from earlier, which is the our reaction to the European Super League, our very angry reaction, it's fair to say. We're also on Twitter and Instagram at Big Kids FPL, so make sure you follow us there as well. We also have our very own Fantasy Premier League, which you can join. The code for which is 01TOQK. Of course, Game Week 32 is still going on. Loads of points still to be had there. But should we just quickly check in with how we're all doing? No graphics to display, but how are our Game Week 32s going?
Yeah, mine's not gone too badly. Kane captain obviously paying off so far, with a brace against Everton. So yeah, I'm on 35 points at the moment. So 14 points above average, and that's with 7 players still to play.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I've got 45 points. With so I got so quite a. I again captained Kane like most managers. Nice little bonus point and clean sheet from Cody. Lingard on the score sheet again, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 players to play. So looking like a good week so far for me.
Yep, I'm on 39 points, so in the middle of you both. Again, I did captain Kane, although it looks like we might not get a second match out of him, unfortunately. I had Lingard as well, got a goal. Fernandes blanking, and my new player Semedo, which you guys clearly didn't like on the stream last week. He got a clean sheet, so 6 points from him. Apart from that, I've had Leno and Cresswell, neither of whom have played, meaning I get Martinez and Phillips off the bench, who haven't played either yet. Which means in total, including those auto subs, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7, depending on whether you include Kane, 8. But yeah. And that's my.
Well, then I've got 9 to play then, including the doubles.
Well, yeah, for Son anyway, he's still got another match. He's still got another game.
Yeah.
With a new interim manager. See if Tottenham bounce back with a big win. Right. So, first things first, in terms of hot topics, let's talk about a player who's blanked yet again, Bruno Fernandes of Manchester United. Very expensive, 11.6 mil. Basically an FPL Central, but not in very good form. Ludo has already sold him, so pretty good on Ludo there. Well done. But me and Jake still holding on.
Yeah, I actually sold him. Sorry to interrupt, but I actually sold him a couple of game weeks ago, so quite risky. But I think he's blanked a couple of times now, so I haven't been hit hard by that. So I'm quite happy about my quite bold decision that I've made.
But for me and Jake, who are still holding on to him, of course, he's got a very good-looking fixture coming up ahead with Leeds next. But is there a good case to be made to sell him? What do you think?
Yeah, I think there is. But the question is, who for? Obviously, none of the premiums have really been returning much in midfield. Like KDB, Salah, I mean, he scored a few goals, but not the form he was in earlier. And obviously Aubameyang, not really either. But yeah, there are lots of cheaper options who are obviously in great form. Lingard being one of them, who I think we all have. Pereira, who I've mentioned quite a few times, in great form. And actually, Bowen has picked up pretty decent form as well.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree, but I think you say it's a case of who to sell him for. I think it's also a case of when, because I'd be
Yeah,
very reluctant to sell him ahead of Leeds.
yeah, definitely. I mean, we saw his, I think he got 17 points or something, 2
Yeah.
goals and an assist, and 3 bonus. No, it was 2 bonus. Tom, I think, got the same. But yeah, he played very well against Leeds last time. And to be honest, um, I've got a pretty strong midfield, and Fernandes, his fixtures aren't too bad till the end of the season. So I probably am going to hold him for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that one. I would only consider selling him for maybe Mason Greenwood, but we'll talk about him later. What would you advise, Ludo?
Um, I think, to be honest, Bruno Fernandes is Bruno Fernandes, so just keep him and see which way your luck goes. I think unless you really need to upgrade or desperately need money, then I suggest just keep keeping him is the best way to go forwards. He's got good fixtures, as you've said, okay fixtures actually. And you never know. Even in the big games, he can turn up and deliver.
Yeah. Next thing to talk about is, of course, it is a blank game week coming up, blank game week 33, with two big teams, Spurs and City, and two smaller teams, Fulham and Southampton, all blanking this coming game week. And for people who still have their free hit left, I think it's definitely a consideration to be playing it this week. But there's also, of course, a potential double game week 35 and blank game week 36 to plan for. So do you think it's wise to free hit this week, or would you just wait?
Um, I guess it depends on how many players you have that are blanking.
Mm,
Because obviously, I think most of us have probably come off triple, and maybe most of us have come off double City, or even City altogether. Um, and I think most of us definitely have Kane. Um, but yeah, other than that, I don't think many managers have Fulham or Southampton players. So I don't think it's the best week to free hit if there is going to be another blank and double. But it's definitely if you're struggling to field players for this week, then obviously I'd use it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, the most important reason is, if you've got a couple of players blanking, then just do it now. One thing I would say, I don't want to bring this into discussion too much, but um, I'd say it might be a bit risky to free hit this week because some players might actually be very angry and might be very upset about this European Super League. It is a very big thing because they might not be able to play for their country nor in the Champions League, and uh, you know that it could become a massive problem, and they might not want to play. Obviously, at the minute, we don't know too much about it. It's coming.
actually, so we're filming this on Monday afternoon, and I just got some breaking news, which is the UEFA president has officially said that any player that plays in the Super League will not be able to play in the World Cup or the Euros. So that is official
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Well, there you go. I think clubs will now start to rethink about it, and also I think players playing for the top six clubs will start to say, "Oh, well, my childhood dream was to win the World Cup, and now I can't." So they might think about a move away to another club. So there's going to be lots of tensions for sure, and it could affect FPL for sure. So yeah.
one thing I would say in favour of free hitting is that there are a lot of good fixtures to attack there. Liverpool have a really good fixture. So if you only have maybe one Liverpool player, if you were free hitting, you'd have a very good opportunity to get three. Same with, I think, who else has got a good fixture? Leicester.
Leicester.
Leicester have got a good fixture, and there are a couple more that have surprisingly good fixtures, which you could probably attack and make the most of if you were free hitting. But I get your point. Um, Next is the relegation battle, which is going on at the moment. Which obviously Sheffield United have been relegated all over there, but two teams in particular that seem to have sort of picked themselves up to sort of secure their safety are West Brom and Newcastle. Obviously, Newcastle in a much better position in terms of points than West Brom, but
Yeah.
both are in really good form. So whereas we'd normally look at a Newcastle fixture or West Brom fixture and immediately get loads of players that are playing Newcastle and West Brom, do you think? Because obviously it's Liverpool, Newcastle this week. It's Villa, West Brom this week. Um, are you still confident that that's an easy fixture, or are you a bit more cautious now, maybe a bit more reluctant to attack those fixtures?
Um, well, you're probably all right if you're bringing in attacking players targeting those teams. But defensively, maybe not. I mean, Newcastle have managed to score in their last couple of games, I think. They scored 3 against West Ham, who are now looking pretty shack. But Newcastle's last few results 2-1 win against Burnley, 2-2 with Spurs, and then lost against Brighton. But yeah, they've scored quite a few goals in the last few games. So maybe not so much defensively. And West Brom
Yeah.
scoring lots of goals, 5-2 against Chelsea, just put that out there.
Yeah, thank you for putting that out there, Jake. But I'd say if you're looking for any players actually in the relegation battle, you might as well get one, because they've got teams like West Brom, Fulham, have Newcastle have got a lot to play for. They're not guaranteed to be safe. And one thing I'd say is that just because Newcastle have won two games in a row and have had three good results, that doesn't. Yeah, they've got momentum with them, but for a team, I expect a team like Liverpool to not face too many problems against Newcastle.
Yeah. I think it's still a case of going for those fixtures, maybe being a bit more cautious, maybe when captaining them, I suppose, or tripling up on teams playing Newcastle or West Brom. But yeah, let's move on to the PowerPoint stuff then. We've got our game week 33 watch list first of all, a defender, a midfielder, and an attacker to look out for in game week 33. So Ludo's done this week's one, and he started off with Connor Cody.
Yeah, I mean, I've chosen him as his fixtures, as you can see, are looking quite nice. Bit of not really a differential, but he's got a relatively low ownership, not too expensive as well. Has got good aerial threats. Burnley have become a bit more solid defensively, and that's why I've chosen him.
I assume you meant Wolves have become a bit more solid defensively, not Burnley.
Oh yeah, sorry,
Yeah,
Wolves. Yeah.
because Burnley have done the opposite. They're not very good defensively.
Yeah.
Next in midfield is James Maddison.
Yeah, again, I've gone for. I think he's just returned from injury. Good fixtures again. He's got low ownership because of his injury, and so he might be a player coming out of the shadows. Leicester in relatively good form at the minute, so he could have an impact.
Yeah, very low ownership, considering what he's done earlier in the season. But then, of course, he did have that injury. And then the attacker, a very differential one here, actually, I must admit, is Neil Mopay.
Yeah, many had him at the start of the season, and he's big differential as well. He's got okay fixtures as well. Sheffield United, Leeds United haven't got the best defence, so I could see him getting a contribution. Has blanked a couple of times, but I think a game week or two ago he got 8 points, so that's something to look out for. He's also relatively cheap, so yeah.
Okay, interesting stuff. We'll keep an eye on them. All of them have got really good fixtures for this coming week, so we'll see how they all do. Next, let's talk about captains. A bit of a harder choice than last week, but those are the 4 candidates we've put on the PowerPoint. What are your thoughts on them?
Well, obviously, we've just been talking about maybe not targeting Newcastle and West Brom. But yeah, like I said, I still think they're fine if you're going with captaining. Well, you normally captain attacking players, but yeah, I think you're fine targeting them with attacking players. I've brought in Salah this week, so I think I'll be looking to captain him over Fernandes. I think just because Salah's been slightly in the better form. Also, Iheanacho still a bit of a differential, got a good fixture, so I think he's also a good option for this week.
Yeah, I myself am captaining Salah. Haven't got Fernandes nor Jota. I think Iheanacho is a bit of a risky one. He's in great form. Scored in the FA Cup semi-final, scored the winner. But I'm not sure. Palace are not the worst of teams nor the best of teams. But Salah against Newcastle, I'll be captaining him. Good fixture.
Yeah, I, as well as Jake, have all 4 of the candidates. But again, I'm leaning towards Salah. I just think, obviously, Jota has the potential to do well as well against a Newcastle team. So does Fernandes. But I think, I think Leeds, again, they showed it with their win against City. They like these big games and they like to, close out. They'll probably play quite a defensive game against United. And then I think Salah, obviously, he's got penalties, maybe a bit less of a rotation risk. I'm just, leaning towards the more reliable Mo Salah for me. And sticking with Diogo Jota, um, the comparison corner for this week is Diogo Jota versus Mason Greenwood, evenly priced at 7 mil, both catching the eye as pretty decent differentials, especially Greenwood. And well, Greenwood's certainly got the stats to back himself up. Would you consider going for Mason Greenwood over Diogo Jota?
Not particularly. I mean, Greenwood is slightly more expensive. He's probably he's also got the rotation risk, but as does Jota. But Liverpool obviously have great fixtures until the end of the season, and Man United not so much. And I think we've seen what Jota can do earlier in the season and has been doing, not last week, but a couple of weeks before. And Greenwood, he's gone, obviously, he scored in the last 3 games, but we've never really seen him pick up form for a prolonged amount of time.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
Yeah, I agree with Jake. I'd say fixtures fixtures look favourable for Jota. In terms of price, same price. The only risk with both of them actually is rotation. They don't play every week, but when they do play, they do deliver. Mason Greenwood is in better form at the minute than Jota. Yeah, but seem like two very good options. I would go for Jota because there's less of a rotation risk.
Okay, then let's reveal our teams as the final thing we're going to do today. Mine's up first, and the transfer I have made is Gundogan out and somebody in. I haven't actually made it yet, so I've still got time to choose, but it will be either of the players from this slide. It'll be Mason Greenwood or Diogo Jota. Again, I'm leaning towards Diogo Jota because of Liverpool's fixtures. He'll definitely stay on my team for the whole season from now. But Greenwood's something to think about maybe. Other than that, Martinez back in goal. A bit worrying that Leno got benched actually. But Martinez back in goal against West Brom. Solid back three. Hoping for at least 2 clean sheets there with Phillips and Semedo, potentially with Azpilicueta as well. Then got Lingardinho, who's in form of his life in there. And I've got Fernandes, Vice, Salah captain, Rafinha and Jota in my 5-man midfield, and then Iheanacho and Bamford up top. And in terms of the bench, I've got Cresswell, who will be playing, potentially, if his injury's better, who can give me bench cover, and then I've got Kane and Diaz, who are not playing. But no, I'm very happy with my team, not taking a hit, which is good. Probably the most confident, most comfortable I've been with my team in a while. Not really many decisions for me to make this week. So that's a good thing. And that's my team, yeah. Next is Ludo's team.
Yeah, so I am not the happiest with my team. Some hard fixtures. But, I've got 11 players playing, so that's good. Always good. Salah captain. Smith Rowe's a rotation risk. However, I have got a whopping 4.3 million in the bank. So
Crikey.
that is something to think about. The only problem is that I was thinking, I might wait for 2 free transfers, or I could just do it immediately. I'd have to wait for news on Harry Kane's injury. But what if I did? What if I did Kane to? This might be a bit controversial. Lacazette, who I think himself has got an injury.
Yeah, Lacazette's injury doesn't sound good. I wouldn't get Lacazette.
Then I think I'll be looking for replacements for Kane. Probably, I'll be downgrading someone. So I've got lots of money. I've got quite a few decisions to make.
I don't think he will be out for long.
Yeah, I'd say Lacazette's looks a lot worse than Kane's. They're saying Kane will be fit for the Carabao Cup final, so he'll be fine.
Okay. And so I've got some decisions to make, and I'll probably make them on the deadline stream, so make sure to be there on Friday at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, make sure you're there. I like the team. I know it doesn't mean much, but I'm interested that you vice captained Alexander Arnold twice in a row now. Not sure if there's any.
Yeah, I might change that because in a pandemic world, you never know if a fixture does get postponed last minute. So perhaps either on the either on a Chelsea defender or perhaps a non-Big Six club. Connor Cody might get if he trains
make a
well.
statement. And then finally is Jake's team. Another mystery defender.
Yes, so I've got the same dilemma as Noah had last week.
Hmm.
But before I go into that, I've got the problem of the Cresswell injury. So on here, it shows that I've transferred him out, but it's between him and Digne, and I've making two transfers this week. So I've brought Salah in for Son, who's blanking obviously, and then obviously the mystery defender is coming in. But I can't afford, if I do keep Cresswell over Digne, I can't afford him to blank because I won't have anyone on my bench. I'll still have Kane, Diaz, and Digne. Sorry, Kane, Diaz, and Gundogan, who are all blanking. So I'm not sure quite yet as to keep Cresswell, who obviously doesn't have a great fixture against Chelsea, or Digne, who has a slightly better fixture but has worse fixtures long term.
Yeah,
So
I think the sensible thing is to wait for Cresswell and injury news.
yeah,
If he's fit, I'd be inclined to keep him despite the tough
yeah,
fixture, because Digne, I don't think is. Because if you keep Cresswell this week, I assume you're going to keep him for the rest of the season.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, that's what I would do.
yeah. And then otherwise, yeah, Martinez back in goal. Triple up on Liverpool. Well, I guess quadruple up, seeing as I'm captaining Liverpool player as well. So yeah, maybe slightly risky, seeing as what I've been talking about earlier, but hopefully this will be all right. And yeah, Bamford against United, which I guess is just someone to play rather than um, someone I'm expecting a return from. And then Iheanacho against Crystal Palace as well, which is a good fixture. But yeah, I think it's a. Oh, I've not discussed who I'm bringing in yet. Sorry for the mystery defender. But yeah, so I think it's between. To be honest, it was previously between Shaw, Fofana, and a Wolves defender, but I think Shaw's out of the mix now with United defence and fixtures. So I think it's between a Wolves defender and Fofana, but I'm not sure who.
Tough one actually. I'm not sure. You might want to wait and see how Leicester do against.
Yeah,
Who are they playing? West Brom, yeah, on Thursday. Yeah. So both, yeah, exactly the same dilemma as I had, wasn't it?
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So those are our game week 33 teams, and that is the end of this preview podcast. So thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe on YouTube, The Big Hitters. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Big Hitters FPL. Join our league, which is 01TOQK. And we'll be back with a deadline stream on Friday night. So do not miss that. Loads of last minute transfers. We'll answer all your questions and the usual stuff. And see you then. Bye bye.
goodbye.